What the frick is up, guys? I am Lime the Lemon, and today I'm going to be reviewing Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. Now, by the time I decided I was going to make a review of this game, I was already far enough into the game that showing any gameplay would be kind of spoilery. So instead, you get to enjoy this picture of this wonderful man, Skrillex, while I show you various things that I'm talking about throughout the game. Skrillex has nothing to do with this game, but yeah. Like a Dragon was my first Yakuza game, except for maybe Yakuza Kiwami, but I only played a little bit into that one a long time ago. I don't really remember anything about it, so yeah. I feel like this was a good starting point for anybody looking to get into Yakuza. Like, even though there is some fan service and some characters that you wouldn't really know the significance of unless you had played the previous games, you definitely don't have to have played the previous ones in order to fully enjoy this one. And enjoy it I did. I think this game is fantastic. This game somehow manages to be one of the funniest games I've ever played while also being incredibly gripping and emotional. This game has some long cutscenes and I wasn't compelled to skip a single one. Even though I feel like there were some loose ends at the end of the game, I can't praise this story enough. There are so many unexpected twists and turns and it was always engaging. And even though Ichiban can be frustratingly naive at times, his journey throughout this game has you rooting for him, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the story because you should play it for yourself. So instead I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the game mechanics. This Yakuza entry is a big departure from the other ones because it turns it from like a beat 'em up style game into a JRPG. Now, I have kind of a weird relationship with RPGs. I wouldn't say that I'm a big fan of the genre as a whole. However, while my favorite game is Apex Legends, my other favorite games include Fire Emblem Three Houses, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and Fallout New Vegas. I am very, very picky about RPGs when I pick them up. However, when they're good, they do become some of my favorite games. However, there are some RPG mechanics that I just absolutely despise. The biggest one being grinding. To this game's credit, I didn't really have to do that until I was about 70% of the way through the game. However, there are some absolute bullshit boss fights that I had to grind for. The pretty intense difficulty spike at the end of the game with the bosses is not appreciated. Thankfully, for most of the bosses that I was having trouble with, I was able to grind at the battle arena, because I would have cried if I had to grind to level up the normal way by finding people on the streets or going into the dungeons. Which brings me into my next point, dungeon crawling. I do not fuck with and despise dungeon crawling. The palaces in Persona 5 are the biggest reason why I could not finish that game for the life of me. Thankfully, there is very little required dungeon crawling in this game. I understand that leveling probably would have been easier if I had just done the optional dungeon crawls, but I refuse to. But yeah, the grinding and dungeon crawling, those are the two elements that I wasn't able to enjoy about this game, but thankfully they're not very frequent. Despite these common issues I have with JRPG games, pretty much everything else about this game was fantastic, from the characters to the dubstep soundtrack. My favorite character in this game is Junji Han, and seeing as I'm a crypto main in Apex Legends, I seem to have an affinity for Korean surveillance men in coats with guns. But anyways, this game is fantastic, and I recommend it to anyone even if you've never played a Yakuza game before. I know I'm definitely going to dive deeper into the series. But hey, thanks for watching. I make music as Shine Scythe. Would mean the world to me if you checked it out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.